So you're thinking of moving to Palos Verdes, but you want to know the pros and cons. Let's dive into it. My name's Tony Buttitta. I'm a local realtor here in Palos Verdes in the South Bay. So we're just gonna jump right into today's video, which is the pros and cons of living in Palos Verdes. So for the record, a lot of these are gonna kind of be both. So we're just gonna go piece by piece, and a lot of this will depend on what you're looking for, right? So the first thing I wanna start off with is the fact that the Palos Verdes Peninsula is in kind of a remote location. Now, we're not out in the middle of nowhere, right? There's grocery stores, there's places to eat, there's things to do. You can get a lot of your daily needs without even leaving the hill, right? There will be times where you want to venture down to get something else or to go somewhere, but you can get a lot of your groceries and other things that you might need on a daily basis without leaving the peninsula. So sometimes people will ask me, well, you know, isn't it really far? And isn't it far from the freeways? The reality is we're 15 miles south of LAX. We're about 25 miles south of downtown Los Angeles. And depending on where you live on the peninsula, it could take you anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes just to get off the peninsula. We're about 20 to 30 minutes from the closest freeway. For a lot of people who live here, that is a pro, right? So on the weekends or whenever they're not working, a lot of people here don't want to be by a freeway. We don't want to see a freeway, you don't want to hear a freeway. And the fact that it takes 30 minutes to get to like the 405 or the 110, a lot of people here like that. Now, if you're a commuter, maybe you work in downtown Los Angeles or even in Orange County or on the west side, and you're considering Palos Verdes as a place to come, if you don't want to have like a 60 to 90 minute commute, possibly each way, then maybe this is too far out for you. Maybe this is a little bit too far, and the remote location of the peninsula might be a con for you. So next up, let's talk about the schools. Unless you're anti-school, this is a major pro. One of the #1 reasons why people move to Palos Verdes is to get their kids in the school district. Now, there are a number of private schools up here on the peninsula, but you don't need to go to an expensive private school to get an excellent education. The Palos Verdes Peninsula Unified School District is one of the best school districts in the country. So if you have young kids that are about to get in school, or maybe they're already in school and you're not happy with the school they're in now, the schools are a major, major plus for moving here. Next up, let's talk about the cost of living. So the homes up here are expensive. Now, if you're looking to buy a home in California, specifically Los Angeles, more specifically one of these suburbs or beach towns, it's like by the ocean, you already know it's going to be a little bit pricey. I did a video called Palos Verdes Overview on the channel. If you haven't checked that out, it kind of breaks down different sections of the hill and the pricing that we saw in 2023 and number of homes sold, if you want to get a good idea of what types of price ranges are that homes are selling in the area. Now, in that video, I kind of specifically target the $1.5 million price range because for whatever reason, it seems that as especially first-time home buyers are kind of reaching that, you know, hey, I can afford 1.5 million. We get a lot of inquiries about, hey, can I buy a single family home in Palos Verdes for that price? And to be honest with you, that is a very tough price point up here, especially if you want to be on the west side of the hill, which is the side of the peninsula that's closer to the schools and the shops and easier access down into the beach cities. If you want to go to the east side of the peninsula, you can definitely find homes that will sell between $1 million and $1.5 million over there. If you're moving here for the schools, though, just make sure that you're in the Palos Verdes School District as opposed to the LA Unified School District. So next, let's talk about the dining options. There's places to eat up here. There's not a lot of sit-down restaurants, so for a lot of you, this might be a con. If you're the type of person you like to go out to eat regularly, right? You like to go out a couple of times a week or a couple times a month to, I'd say, like nicer sit-down restaurants. There's not a lot of options up here right now, right? So The top two would both be at the Terranea Resort. Marcel is like their fine dining option. Great restaurant, great food, great views. And then Catalina Kitchen is their like main restaurant. Both great options and both over there at Terranea. Other than that, I mean, you have Avenue Italy in Golden Cove. You have Red Onion, which is an old staple, been in Palos Verdes since the 1960s. This is a sit-down Mexican restaurant, arguably the most popular restaurant up here on the peninsula. Salsa Verde is another Mexican restaurant that opened recently down in Lanada Bay, also a good option. And then there's sprinkled out like a few other options as well. But most of the places to eat up here are kind of like quick, I wouldn't say fast food, but they're just quicker style. You know, Chipotle, The Habit, Chicken Maison, Dragonfly Thai, Fat Tomato Pizza. There's stuff kind of sprinkled throughout. So there's a lot of variety, right? But if you like to go out, sit down, have a nice meal, you're probably gonna find yourself driving down into Redondo, Hermosa, or Manhattan, maybe even going into Torrance. So you will be driving off the peninsula if you like to go out quite often. So that might be a con. So just to piggyback real quick on the dining thing, if you're looking for a place where you can like go out to dinner and then walk to a couple of bars to get some drinks and then walk home, and a place where you can be out and about and there's like energy and like stuff happening at night, this is probably not the spot, right? You're gonna be super, super bored up here. I'm not saying that you can't find, you know, some trouble to get into, but this is the suburbs. This is a family place. Everything kind of shuts down at night. I mean, things are open, but if you're looking to like go out, you know, you're probably gonna wanna look down at like the beach cities. Now, if you're looking for quiet, you're looking for, you know, a place you raise the kids, get them in a good school system, this is it, right? That's what Palos Verdes is gonna offer you for sure. So for some of you, this might be a pro. For some of you, this might be a major con. So next up, let's talk about the outdoor activities. The peninsula is just a big hill. So if you're an avid cyclist and you like to ride your bike and get challenged on, you know, some really challenging hills, this is a great, great place to ride your bicycle, especially if you're a road bike person. There are so many little nooks and crannies and areas of the peninsula where you can kind of get lost. You can kind of weave in and out of different neighborhoods. Obviously, you could do the whole loop around the Palos Verdes drives. And you got great ocean views like the whole way. So if you're an avid cyclist, Palos Verdes is an excellent place to ride your bike. Hiking, there's a ton of trails up here, right? So if you love even just going for a walk, there are so many great neighborhoods. There are so many trails up here that a lot of people actually discovered during COVID. There's nothing to do, so a bunch of people in LA kind of discovered Palos Verdes, and a number of hikes up here became like super popular. Actually, a spot that kind of takes off up by St. John Fisher, up by Del Cerro Park, became so popular that like parking was a problem and like it was a whole thing. But if you love hiking, you love just taking nice, beautiful walks, and you're a cyclist or whatever, there's a lot of outdoor stuff to do. Obviously, we're very close to the beach cities, and Palos Verdes in general also has a number of excellent breaks. So if you're a surfer, great place to be. It's not the type of place you're gonna, you know, jump out of your bed, throw your wetsuit on and run to the beach, because we're kind of up on cliffs and stuff. But it's a 5-10 minute drive, maybe 15, depending on where you're at. So just a lot to offer there. Next up, let's talk about just the scenery and the views. Another major reason why people move here is they just want a home with beautiful views, which you can clearly get up here in Palos Verdes. There's different types of views as well, right? You got the back side of the hill where you're looking kind of down south and you can look out towards Catalina. You got the western side of the hill where you're gonna get just great sunsets day in and day out. You got the north side of the peninsula where you're gonna get that view right up the coastline. That's known as the Queen's Necklace view. That is a super sought after view. And if you wanna live on the east side, you're gonna get views of the Port of Los Angeles. And there's times you could see down into Irvine, even Newport and Dana Point, like way down there on clear days. So there's all kinds of different view options up here, not just with single family homes. Even some of the condos and townhomes up here will have excellent views. Now the scenery, because there's so many views, this is also a great place to come to do like a scenic drive, right? And sometimes on the weekends, something that might be a con is that you do get quite a few people up here just driving around the peninsula because it's a pretty place to be. It's never like super crowded, and traffic's never really an issue up here like at all. But if it's a really nice weekend, maybe it's been, cold for a while, which out here, like today is cold. People from the East Coast probably think we're nuts, but it's like in the 50s and everyone's freezing. But, once it starts to warm up from our winter, you'll see more and more people out and about driving around, taking walks. So sometimes it can get a little busy around the hill, but ultimately, obviously, this is a major, major plus for most people. So the last thing I'm going to end on is maybe a weird one, but it's the hills. So is this a pro? Is this a con? The reason I wanted to mention this is if you're planning on moving here and you like to walk out of your front door and go for a walk like I am right now, maybe walk the kids in a stroller specifically, or if you have a dog, you want to make sure you're looking in a neighborhood like this that's very flat. There are a lot of neighborhoods up here and homes that are, up on windy streets. You walk out of your front door and the road's like, like this. And it might not be the best place to walk out your front door and take a walk. You might need to jump in your car and go somewhere in order to, get your steps in. So if you're planning on moving here, make sure to mention that to whoever you're working with and let them know, hey, I kind of want to be in one of the flatter neighborhoods like this right now. I'm on Golden Meadow. I think this is actually the longest like flat street on the entire peninsula. This is a great walkable neighborhood. Now that being said, kind of up behind me here, you can see as you drive down into this neighborhood, you're coming down some pretty major hills. So some of the homes as you're coming down here, when you walk out the front door, it's a bit of a challenging walk. So just be mindful of that if that's something that's important to you. A house that's on a really, really steep hill could be a con. So there you have it, some pros and cons to living in Palos Verdes. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you're thinking of moving here, or maybe you already live in the South Bay and you want to buy or sell something, feel free to send me an email, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'd be happy to help you in any way that I can. Thanks for watching. Hope wherever you are, you're doing great. See you next time.